I had a weird dream about Sam Altman.
Whoa, 𝗦𝗏 up 12%. Got FDA approval for a new process. See, I don't have this in my portfolio because I've been waiting for it to get a better price. I hope you guys still have it. I think it's easy. IonQ is going to fall apart. So for anybody that didn't know, they halted, IonQ halted their stock, which is a pretty dramatic thing to do. And they issued a press release. The press release was that they were going to do a partnership with Chattanooga, quantum computing partnership with Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay. A local reporter broke the news that IonQ is putting up $15 million for the deal, this $22 million deal. I mean, it's crime. It's totally crime. You can't incentivize a customer. You can't pay a customer $15 million to book $7 million in revenue, right? You say, okay, we're going to have a partnership. I'm going to support you guys with a grant of $15 million, and you're going to buy my product. I'm going to bill you $7 million for that. Well, that's not the first time they've done a little fraud. You know, they won't tell anybody what this acquisition they're doing. They won't tell you how much revenue there is, how much they're buying. I mean, what a house of cards. They don't want to be like Rigetti. They don't want to just be like, okay, when it works, it works. We'll find out when it works. They don't want to have a quiet 5 years or 10 years. And look, Rigetti's doing just fine. They don't have to lie. Even QUBT is doing just fine. But IonQ is kind of, it just strikes me that, like, who would you rather have running your company? The Rigetti guy who at least is honest and has experience in semiconductors, or the IonQ guy who has no experience in anything and is just lying his face off? It's just unbelievable fraud. And remember, I went to jail for fraud. So a lot smaller than this, but what can you do? I'm not bitter. I mean, bubbles are what they are. I mean, by definition, they just sort of have to, they generally are liquidity driven. Well, I don't think I'm a fraudster for what it's worth, but, you know, I think that, you know, there is generally it's a liquidity driven phenomenon. It's almost always, you know, that nature to bubbles. And, you know, in bubbles, I mean, folks just ignore the fundamentals completely. Yeah, it's pretty similar to 𝗕𝗏. When people figure out quantum computing isn't coming, and it's certainly not coming from IonQ, then, you know, the stock will be at $1 or $2. I'd say there is a cheat sheet. It's in Notion. If anybody has the link, please send it over. I should have it, but I don't. Help may also have it. Type in HELP. Let's see if Help has it. Yeah, there you go. It's a little bit of, yeah, actually, this is somewhat up to date or fully up to date. Yeah, Help will do it. Use Help. We're going to try to make some kind of system that, like, kind of like a video game where, like, a bunch of stuff pops up and it's like arrows point to stuff and, like, this is how you do this. This is how you do that. Do it like this. We have so much cool stuff coming on godel. All right, let's see. No, GARP. I mean, a lot of these drugs are generic now. All right, what's going on in the market? Let's see. Plug Power is the most active traded because it's a dollar stock. Pfizer's traded 8 million shares. Big Bear AI, 8 million. That's one of the kind of weird bubble fraud stocks. NVIDIA, 7 million shares, down 1% on Huawei progress in AI. Tesla, 6 million shares, up 2%. Robinhood has traded 1 million shares. NEO, 1 million shares. And AbbVie has traded 1 million shares and is flat. Robinhood is up to 2%. Let's look at some gainers. CGON, CG Oncology. Interesting. What's happening here? Phase 3 results. Okay. Oh yeah, I saw this weekend. All right, we're gonna have to look at this. Some promising cancer data there. Stock up 39%. We mentioned Plug. Sabre Corp, don't know this one, up 14%. Our friend 𝗦𝗏 is up 11%. Kennedy Wilson up 10%. Opera up 10%. Peloton up 7%. Revvity up 6%. Looking at CG Oncology, it's kind of an under the radar company. Let me just log into one of my systems here. It's pretty under the radar company. Put this news out, I think, on Friday or Saturday. I don't remember. Yeah, we could talk about Tesla, but I think, yeah, Tesla is mostly about on Elon and what can Elon do with the company. We'll have to just sort of see. Yeah, I know a lot of people want to be long Nike. It's not my cup of tea. I don't do leveraged cash flows. Well, I do assume that the company puts the money to work. So you could call that levered, I suppose. Market making bot runs every day. You didn't hear the order filled every 2 seconds? Wow, yeah, Rigetti's up 6%. Wild. I think you gotta press these shorts. Pretty solid results here for CG Oncology. Although the stock's trading down from the open. I'm bullish on Novo. I think it's way oversold. Oh, there goes Rigetti and company. CG Oncology is a stock we're watching closely. Yeah, competition for at least the Chinese market for GPUs with Huawei is increasing, but most revenue for NVIDIA is in the US. Almost all of the data center revenue is in the US. So you're talking about 10-20% of revenue may now be competitive. And it's really not clear if these machines are actually going to be competitive. So I don't think it should be a big deal for NVIDIA, but the market tends to shoot first and ask questions later, which, you know, I understand. All right, let's check out our market maker dashboard. Oh, I have to run that. 𝗍𝗢𝗃𝗏. It's kind of incredible. Everything looks normal. This is P&L in dollars, yes. Oh, guys, I have good news. I'm going to have a call-in number later today. So you're going to have you can call in and ask questions. I guess Interactive's good, Abdur. Any of the major brokers will do you right. I think the bubble lasts as long as the liquidity lasts, right? That's just the nature of how that is. I'll have the number printed right on the screen, and I'll have some special people call in. I don't think the IonQ deal is going to be including revenue for May 7th, but I think that because it's still over 2 years, it might be in guidance. 𝗙𝗢𝗏𝗏, that's what everyone's trying to accomplish. That's like asking, will my stock picks go up? It's no different just because it's a systematic trading system. Doesn't mean that, it automatically makes money or something like that. I think the Merck deal is kind of, it's good for them to diversify their revenue base, but it's just 2 7-year products. So they're not really long franchises that'll help a lot. I don't know why Biohaven did this, or I don't know why the buyer did this deal, because it doesn't seem like it's too attractive. First job for market makers to make sure it's profitable. I don't have too many comments on politics. It's just not my field. You're in that Biohaven? You're in the haven? Let's go. Look at that chart on Biohaven. Your boy. It's your boy. Yes, Gansa, I'm re-recording those finance lessons, so you'll see those very soon, maybe even tonight. But they're not, there's some small adjustments, but nothing too wild. Just make sure we're doing good risk management. Cut those loser stocks out of your portfolio. Unless you have super high conviction, then you can, sometimes hold on to them. But that is portfolio, Liam. I have a young woman who is going to be joining me as a co-host, hopefully. She's very, very beautiful and very smart. Dangerous combo. You guys can learn this yourself, but basically when you post liquidity in an ECN, you should get a rebate, and sometimes the rebate's sizable enough that you get a very small fee yourself. The ECNs all want to have the most amount of liquidity. So to offer you some incentive to post liquidity, there is something called the maker fee. When you take liquidity, you pay the taker fee. So yes, you get paid to be a market maker. That's part of the profits. The takers pay the makers. Well, you don't have to be a designated market maker. It's not just that, Epic. You can get a high rate of return, right? Think of it as a hedge fund. I don't think fundamental long short's going to go anywhere, but you do have to evolve, right? You always have to evolve. I think market makers are making more money than long shorts now. There's a lot of advice. Learn from the best is always a good piece of advice. I don't know, Luke. I don't know that it's capital requirements. It's more making sure it works. Remember, market making is just posting a bid and an ask. That's all it is. It's when you're indifferent as to whether you're filled on the buy or the sell. And it doesn't mean that you have to be at the top of the book, right? You don't have to say, I'm willing to buy and sell at the best price available right now. You're willing to say, I'm willing to buy and sell. I'm willing to buy NVIDIA at, here's NVIDIA's price, it's 108 right now, right? If you say, I'm willing to buy NVIDIA at 107, and I'm willing to sell it at 109, you're market making. Nobody's going to use your market, but you are technically market making. There are better markets available. It's not market specific. Yeah, Uniswap is one example, I guess. You're not really allowed to self-trade. I mean, you always want to make the spread, right? The ideal state is a buyer is instantaneously buying your higher offer while a seller is instantaneously filling your buy offer, or your buy bid is maybe a better way to say it. That's the whole idea of a market maker. Yeah, I mean, so you're almost always going to be holding inventory. Your market maker, the hope of the market maker is that his inventory doesn't go stale. So let's say in the NVIDIA situation, let's get it a little bit tighter. Let's say you make a market where you bid at 108.50 and you offer at 108.60. And you can see that you just would have gotten filled at 108.60. Now you're hoping to buy back at 108.50. And we're watching, we're watching our mental market model. And there we go. We got bid filled at 108.50. And so now maybe our new market is at 108.40. Okay, we got hit there. And now we're selling at 108.50. Now, this back and forth with volatility is great until you bought at 108.40 and now it's 107.40. And, you mathematically have to sort of be able to take advantage of the vol that you make. You accumulate these pennies back and forth, but you also have to be able to handle, this inventory you accumulate, which you don't necessarily want to accumulate. And it turns out that, you will take lots of losses, and that's normal and totally fine. It's not automatically DCAing because the preference is you don't hold much inventory, but in practice, you will be holding inventory. Yes, retail pays market makers. That is correct. Everyone pays market makers. I wouldn't say it's risk-free. Market makers probably made around 100 billion in total last year, maybe a little more, maybe like 200 billion. What's the 90-day pause day? Oh, yeah, typically you're trying to hedge your beta. Typically. No, I don't make a market in IonQ at the moment. I do like the idea of you being able to set, okay, what stocks do you like and what stocks do you not like? And you just punch that into my code and it'll automatically kind of skew a market maker in your favored direction. So that way you don't get overloaded and you have the same good risk tolerance, but you're still net short that stock. I had a weird dream about Sam Altman. Nightmare. It wasn't a weird dream like that, guys. Come on. He's a major business person. I have dreams about business people all the time. It was funny. I was trying to, we were walking. I was like, hey, Sam. And he just was pretending he didn't see me. And he was being standoffish. And I was like, then I mentioned somebody we know in common. Then he was like, oh, yeah, bro, yeah. probably similar to real life. Although I think he's pretty nice. He takes selfies with people. Oh, IVVD is working again. Good. I don't know. I don't like to play around with the small caps that much. I just want to leave them and let it go. I'm long NVIDIA, so I don't hate energy stocks. I just don't know them well. What does Shkreli know about energy, Okay, so this should be refreshing now. So for Microsoft, it's only made 3 trades with Microsoft because I'm doing this weird dynamic spread thing. Oh no, I'm doing this inventory skew instead of dynamic spread. For NVIDIA, I would sell after, keep in mind that, I'm going for alpha here. I have a big short portfolio. So one of the reasons I like NVIDIA is I think it'll outperform my short portfolio, which it's not doing today. My cash position depends. So on the Thinkorswim account, it's very high because I'm just waiting to be profitable and take a little more risk when that happens. For the market maker, it's obviously always pretty leveraged. I don't know what to think of Compass. I could see that trial work. I could see it fail. It's pretty risky. I think it depends. That's a really good question, Fee. How much do companies care about their stock price? Some CEOs care a lot, and it's really bad to stare at your stock price all day. And I think any CEO watching their stock price too carefully is probably not going to do too well. But I think William's right. If your stock price goes down enough, you can certainly
get into a situation where, you get fired. The board says that's enough of this guy. Yeah, how low will it go? What do you guys think?
Enterprise value, market cap, they're just there to make sure that you're not miscalculating. Plenty of great companies have leverage, right? It's normal to have a little debt. And it's also normal to have a little extra cash. So there's nothing better or worse than the other. And no, I did not give up on Quantum.
Massive company. I don't think I've ever been in one of their stores. One of the few successful retailers. What's their secret? Anybody know? So it's like a department store. Oh, I might have been to a TJX. Is it like, it's not a dollar store, but it's kind of a... Is there a TJ Maxx in New York, Brooklyn, Bronx, Long Island? There are 3 in Manhattan. Where? 6th Ave? Uptown, downtown? Can't be seen in a TJ Maxx. The whole hood will know. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah, Nvidia's getting pummeled.
Partially because of the... Maybe we should go to the TJ Maxx live on stream. Yes, I'm still bearish on MicroStrategy. I will never be bullish on MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy can trade at a discount to its Bitcoin holdings and I'd still be bearish. Last year's close discounted. That's not necessarily bad.
I don't know about Palantir. It's hard to say.
It's a great company, but that doesn't mean it's a great stock. Ross is its own company, ROST, because it has to be a great company for a long time, and great companies can become good companies. So if you're buying the stock price and it assumes it'll be a great company for 20 years, it's only a great company for 10 years, you can actually lose money. That's kind of what was starting to happen to Microsoft. No, I don't think NEO is a good company. I don't really know it, but I doubt it's a good company. Dollar stock. So many EV wannabes, they all want to be Musk. Gross margin for TJX, 30%, including building and occupancy costs. Pretty wild. Wow, him's falling back down. Kramer is the original vibe trader. Yeah, try to focus on more than one stock. You never want to have just one stock in your portfolio or an extreme focus on one stock. It's just really unhealthy. Yeah, I think it's doing Microsoft now. It's, using different P&L strategies for different stocks. Pretty great company, but you want to pay 35 times for no... That's, it is growing. Let's look at EPS growth. I never do this. EPS grew 22% and 10%, but I think the cash flow tells a little bit of a different story. Those earnings are maybe a little massaged. I'll do an abridged cash flow statement here. Yeah, CapEx has been running pretty high, so future earnings will be a little bit suppressed. Free cash flow has been trailing net income. The two have to reach equilibrium. Yeah, so TJX kind of looks like a short. I don't know. I'm guessing they're popular because they've had many years of consistent execution, which, you have to always give some credit for. But I don't know why you would ever want to pay this kind of multiple for this kind of company, for this kind of... these kinds of assets. And you could find real growth out there. These stocks can't stay up forever. This company's sort of really impressive execution. Yeah, I don't see it, man. I'm paying 35 times for some discount retailer. What do I look like, Trump? Think you could get one over on me? I'm not buying TJX 35 times. Okay, did they do a merger? Must have been COVID. Yeah, they don't own that many fixed assets. There's $7 billion of PP&E. Okay, so I deduct that. Now I'm paying 33 times instead of 35 times. I still have a problem with this. Nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing all that. Man, they had more cash flow in 2021. This is anemic growth, especially when you include inflation. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to stop you from paying 35 times for some trash. It's a well-run company. It's a good company, but man, we ain't paying 35 times for no retailer. Ever. First of all, the rule is never buy retailer, period. Only short retailers. Let me show you look at the smooth brain. So yeah, basically the retail derp is let's buy goods, set up a store, and sell those goods for 20% more. That is the business. This is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, this is the one I was looking for. The dumb Wojak cable plugging himself in. I'm gonna buy a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna sell the stuff for slightly higher price. I'm gonna pay for this building and a bunch of people to work here. And people are gonna steal the stuff, so I have to deduct that as well.
Well, online retail came second. Okay, so Apple win rate on trades is 71%. But the amount of money made per trade is tiny. Making like 50 cents a trade. Not even. What do you think, Frenchie? But it's like, you know, it's printing money on lots of stocks. So it's like every second the money printer go burr. I was on MySpace. Yeah, no, you're not going to make a ton of money per contract. You're really looking per trade. You're trying to find just dollars made. Nothing's infinitely scalable. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Baba. Someone's up here. Right? Exactly. I don't think Novo needs distribution, but, or literally, I mean, they almost have too much. Lexar, it's not about the initial, I mean, I think it's about just continuing to tune it as well. I don't think this, let me see if this is right or not. Microsoft, did I make any trades today? I think I did. Oh, I'm out there at least. Got like 1 million bids on Microsoft. When you explain to people what Schelling point is, explain to the class. I think you just want to use the term Schelling point, to be honest. Yeah, although, I mean, there's so much spammers and so much scammers that I don't know that it makes a difference. Alright, so I like this TJX short. Almost like willing to try it. And then maybe it forces me to listen to some retail conference calls. Do we want to look at Danaher or Deere? I guess I'll do a survey or Spotify. Everyone's going to pick Spotify. Or ADP.